we have here is the AGR Performance Steering Wheel rack and pinion. What we're using for our 1993 Ford Fox Body GT, which we call Sergeant Reckless. The AGR Performance steering rack is a quick ratio steering, 15:1 ratio. It actually will allow us to go from 2.25 to 2.5 turns lock to lock. Unlike the stock OEM rack and pinion, which is 18:1 and almost gives you a little bit over three turns just about. So it's a little sloppier and it doesn't give you the quick response that you need. Most of these rack and pinions by AGR are, as we know, pretty expensive. We're talking about close to about $500, and that's not even including the shipping. We were able to pick this up used, and we always put the disclaimer out there for people. Remember, when you buy used, if you have your PayPal account, if you have any of that you do on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, secure yourself. Don't hand it out as a gift. Make sure it's a business transaction, so if you don't receive your parts, you get your money back. And please be honest. Just let the guy know you picked it up and you got it. We're trying to make this even better of a community. This AGR performance steering rack and this Cardone power steering rack, both of these are basically very similar. They're quick ratio rack and pinions, so it's a 15:1 ratio with 2.25 to 2.5 turn to lock to lock. And again, your OEM does about 18:1 ratio, which is almost about 3 turns or a little bit over 3 turns lock to lock. Very sloppy. And your AGR performance rack and pinion is really set up to be using on autocross, rally racing, something that's going to require for you to do a lot of quick radius turns and a very, very quick response. What we're going to end up doing we will be shooting a video for you guys to watch when we install this on our car. For this Cardone rack and pinion, which is for the 9404 with Cobra Terminator internals, we are using the Maximum Motorsports bump steer kit made for the 94 to 04 with the stock inner tie rod setup. So just be careful what you guys order, and you don't want to get stuck with parts you can't send back, and you don't want to buy parts on eBay that you cannot return. One of the things that we want to mention, even though that the AGR has the nice polished housing and the Cardone is just the typical black painted housing, it's almost the same rack and pinion because they are quick ratio steering. Both rack and pinions are 15:1 ratio steering, whereas again the stock OEM is 18:1. This particular rack and pinion is just a housing for the 94 to 04 GT. So when you look at the Cardone, they have a little QR code here, and the number here 222000 is actually the code to let you know that this is a 94 GT housing, rack and pinion housing, but it's all to Cobra Terminator specs. So make sure you pay attention to that if you are picking up these Cardones, because they are out of stock everywhere. You will not find it at Jegs, you will not find it at O'Reilly's, you will not find it at Summit or your AutoZone. As far as this 94 to 04 rack and pinion that we have here, we are using the Maximum Motorsports bump steer kit. Now, if you guys can see the difference from the SVE to the Maximum Motorsports, on our AGR rack and pinion using the SVE, these SVE bump steer kits did not screw on to the stock inner tie rod of the 94. So there's a little bit of a change in the threading. Be careful about that. Be sure you get the correct bump steer kit.